Hi lovelies, welcome to another interesting tutorial. So in today's tutorial I'll be teaching you how to make an asymmetric bodysuit corset. This corset was actually made by Synthetic Fit and is actually trendy. Many fashion designers have been doing it, has been making different styles of it. As you can see, these are another style that you can actually make from it. So if you're interested in this tutorial, let's get right into it. So first of all, we'll be starting with the pattern drafting. So I'll go ahead right now to rule out my starting line. After that, I'll go ahead to take the necessary measurement, which is my vertical measurement. So for my vertical measurement, I'll be imputing the bust point, the under bust, the half length, which is 17, and then the corset length, which is the lower waist, and it's 22 inches. I'll do the same thing here. I'll repeat the bust point, the under bust, the half length, and then the corset length. When I'm done with this, I'll go ahead and use my ruler to connect these points that I made into a straight line, just the way you see me doing. So after I'm done with this, I'll go ahead now to label the line so you will not be confused. So this is my bust point, this is my under bust, that's UB, this is my half length, or you can also write waistline, and then this is the full length, that's the corset length for now. So what I'll do next is to start with the shoulder measurement. So from the starting line now, I'll take my shoulder. My shoulder is 15 divided by 2, 7.5. I'll mark it. From there, I'll come down by 1 inch for shoulder slope, and then I'm going to impute the armhole line, which is my bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. I marked it, and then I'll use my ruler to make it into a straight line. So now this is my chest line. So from that chest line, I'll repeat my shoulder measurement there, which is 7.5. I'll mark it, and then I'll use my ruler to connect this point to the 1 inch shoulder slope I came down by. After I'm done with this, I'll go ahead and take the neck width. I'll be using 3 by 3 inches, which is the standard neck line and the standard neck width, 3 by 3 for both sides. And then I'll connect my shoulder slope, and then I'll connect the points, my neck width and my neck depth together. So when I'm done with this, guys, the next thing I'm going to do is to get my armhole curve. I'll divide this into 2, and I'll come in by ½ inch, and then I'll get my bust measurement, my bust divided by 4 on the chest line. I'll mark it there, and then I'll go ahead and connect this point that I made to get my armhole curve. So when I'm done with this, guys, the next thing I'm going to do is to take my nipple to nipple. Our pattern is beginning to come out. So my nipple to nipple is 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. So I'm going to go ahead now and mark this 3.5 to the full length of our blouse. Then I'll connect the points that I made into a straight line. So when I'm done with this, guys, I'll go ahead now and take my dart. So the dart I'll be using will be ½ inch on both sides, which is 1 inch when I'm done. So from the bust point now, I'll be ruling from the half length, I'll connect the full length, and then from my bust point, I'll connect to the half length or to the waistline, just the way you see me doing. So after this, I'm going to go ahead and start taking my body measurement. So I've already gone ahead to take my bust measurement, as you can see. Then I'll go ahead right now to take my waist measurement. My total waist measurement is 30, but I'll be minusing 2 inches because it's corset and I want it to be cinched. So that 2 inches that I minus, it will now be 28 inches. 28 inches divided by 4 is 7. So I marked it, and then I repeated my dart. So for my lower waist, I divided my lower waist by 4 and I marked it. So I'll go ahead now and connect the points that I made, just the way you see me doing. The next thing I'm going to do is to achieve my overbust. Now to achieve the overbust, I'm going to divide my shoulder slope by 2. So I'll mark it when I divide it, and then I'm going to connect that point to my bust point. So after that, I'll now determine how low or how high I want my overbust to be. So to achieve that, I'm going to check the distance between my bust point and my under bust. So for the distance, I got 3 inches. So now I'm going to place that 3 inches on my bust point, and then I'm going to mark it. Then I'll connect the points. So this is now my overbust line. So for this side, I came in by 0.75, Then I came out here by 0.5. Then I'm going to connect it to my bust point, just the way you see me doing. Then I'll now head over to my underbust to do my underbust contouring. So for the center front, I came in by 0.75, while for the side front, I used 1 inch. So guys, I'll just go ahead now and connect to get my curve from my bust point to my underbust to get that bust curve. I'll do the same thing for the center front, just the way you see me doing. So after connecting, because I want the lines to be straight, I'll just go ahead and measure what I have. I wanted to connect it straight, but I just measured it and then I connected it. So this was when I was done connecting, guys. As you can see, I just marked, check what I had there, and then I repeated the same thing here and I marked it. I did the same thing for this other part. I checked what I had and I repeated it there, just to have a straight line. So after I was done with this, guys, for this point I checked what I had here. I had 3.1 inch, and then I repeated the same thing here, because if you notice, this overbust one is always longer than one, so you need to check the both sides to see the part that is longer and the part that is shorter, so that you can make the corrections. So when I was done, I just curved it to the armhole. So at my corset length, I'm going to check the distance between the two dart legs, which gave me 2 inches. So I'm going to share that 2 inches into 2, which is 1 inch. So I'm going to use it to reshape the full length. So the reason for this is because you don't want your corset length to be too tight on the waist, so it actually gives you this allowance. That's why we always do this. So from the full length, guys, I'm going to come up by 1.5 inches, because I do not want my corset blouse to be straight. I want to be comfortable while sitting. So I'll just go ahead and mark my 1.5 inches, and then I'll connect it to the dart leg, just the way you see me doing. So when I'm done with that, guys, next thing I'm going to do now is to achieve our crouch. So for my half length now, I'll go ahead and take my hip length. So my hip length is 10 inches. So I'll go ahead now and mark my 10 inches. So when I mark the 10 inches, I'll now go ahead and achieve my crouch length. So my crouch, I'll be using 2 inches. So from my hip, I marked 2 inches. So when I mark it, I'll go ahead and repeat the same thing for the other side, so that I can get a straight line. So I placed my tape again on my half length, and then I marked my hip length and then the crotch length. I'll go ahead right now and use a ruler to connect these 2 points into a straight line, just the way you see me doing. After this, guys, I'll go ahead now and determine how wide I want the crotch to be. So now I want it to be 1.3 inches, 1.3. So I marked it there. So what I'm just going to do right now is to now connect that 1.3 inches to my full length. So I connected it first to my crouch, and then I'll just go ahead now and connect it from that part. I'll just first of all use my free hand to just draw a curve, connecting it to my hip line before I now use my ruler to connect it properly. So basically, this is how you can just achieve your bodysuit. If you want the panty part to be wider, all you just need to do is to increase it a bit. But for me, I think this is perfect already. So I went ahead to use my marker pen to highlight it, that's to make it more visible. So when I was done with this, I'll go ahead right now and use my tracing wheel to trace it out to the other part. So remember that this pattern paper is on fold, so I'll use my tracing wheel to trace the other part, so that the pattern to appear on the other part. So this is when I started tracing. So I basically traced a lot of things, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like when I'm done with the tracing. So this is it, guys. When I was done with the whole tracing and highlighting, I seen that our pattern is already taking shape. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to achieve the extended sleeve. So from my chest line, I'm going to come up around the armhole, just the way you see me doing. I'm going to come up by 4 inches. I'll mark it. Then from that armhole point, I'm going to mark 2.5 inches. I'll mark it there. You know, the extension is not supposed to touch your armhole. You have to give space so that at least your hands can be free. So I'll go ahead right now and connect. You know, this will not be enough, so I'm going to go ahead and attach another paper so that the extension or the extended sleeve is going to be quite long. So I went ahead right now to add another pattern paper, and I'll use my masking tape to tape it down just the way you see me doing. Then I'll now go ahead and cut out my masking tape and use my ruler to make the lines to be longer. So this was me when I was extending the sleeve. So I didn't measure it, but you can actually measure or just eyeball it. So at this point I had to just blend it to the bust part. So if you notice in our thumbnail, there's an inner and then there's the bodysuit. So now to achieve that, from the bust point, I'm just going to make a sketch to the extended sleeve, just the way you see me doing. So I'll just use my ruler to make it more visible. You know, the other part is green, while the other part, the bodysuit, is the main lace fabric, while the other part is the crepe. So this was me highlighting it more so you could understand and see what I'm doing. So after this, guys, if you notice at this part now, I will go ahead and extend this part. Are you seeing? So I'm going to mark the 0.75 I marked initially on this part, because this is now our new overbust on this side. And I'll mark 0.75 here. I'll now go ahead and connect it to my bust point. So this is now our new overbust. So I'll just go ahead and connect. To reduce the confusion, I'll use my marker pen to make it more visible so you will not be confused. So I'll just use my marker pen to make it more visible. So basically we have achieved our bodysuit and our extended sleeve. So the next thing that we are going to go ahead to do right now is to get the inner. That's where the bust, the caging and everything is going to be. So on this center front, I came up by 0.75 and I'm going to connect it to the side, like to the dart leg. I see. Then on this side, that's the side front, I'm just going to curve it like this, just to give it a curve. I'll do the same thing for this other part. So just the way you see me doing, I'll give it a curve. And when I'm done with this, remember that we are going to trace this out. This will be traced out. So this is me now. I'm adding my bust dart. So my bust dart is 1.5 inches because the difference between my front length and my back length is 1.5 inches. So I went ahead to mark it there, and I'll do the same thing for this other part. I'll mark my bust dart, which is 1.5 inches. I'll mark it there, and then I'll connect it to the bust point. So then this is it. So when I'm done with this, guys, I'll set this aside and then we'll go ahead and draft the back. So for the back, this is my pattern paper for the back. I'll just go ahead right now to rule out the starting line as always. So after I'm done ruling out the starting line, the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do is to take my vertical measurement, which is my waistline and then the full length with the chest line. So my waistline or my half length is 15.5. I'll go ahead and mark it, and then I also mark my chest line. So my chest line is 8.5. I'll mark it there. and then I'll mark my half length, which is 15.5 for the back, while my front half length is 17 inches. Then I'll also go ahead now and impute the corset length, which is 4.5. So this is it, guys. That's the full length of the corset. I'll just go ahead right now and connect these points into a straight line, just the way you see me doing. So when I'm done connecting, I'll go ahead and label. So this is my chest line. I'll go ahead and label CL, half length or waistline, anyone. Then this is my full length or my corset length, just the same way I did for the front. But the difference is that the front half length is 17 and the back half length is 15.5. So I imputed my shoulder measurements. I came down by 1 inch, and then I got my chest line, and then from that chest line I imputed my shoulder measurement again, and I'm going to connect it to the 1 inch shoulder slope I came down by. Then to achieve my armhole curve, I'll divide this armhole line into 2. I'll come in by 1/2 inch. I'll get my bust divided by 4. I'll mark it there, and then I'm going to connect all the points to get my armhole curve, just the way you see me doing. So after I'm done with this, guys, the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do right now is to get my waistline. My waist is 30 minus 2, 28. 28 divided by 4, 7. And then I added my 1 inch dart allowance. My 1 inch allowance, that's for that. Then for my lower, that's my corset length, that's my lower waist, I imputed it, and then I'll go ahead now and connect the points together. So when I'm done with these, guys, the next thing I'm going to do now, so I'll go ahead and get my neck width, which is 3 inches by 1 inch. I'll mark it there, and then I'll get my shoulder slope. I'll connect it to the neck width, and then I'll connect the neck width to the neck depth. That's 1 inch neck depth. So when I'm done with this, I'll go ahead and get the distance, the opening at my corset. That's to get my corset loop. So what I'm going to do is, from here I'm going to come in by 2 inches. From the chest line I'll come in by 2 inches, and then for the full length of the blouse I'll come in by 1/2 inch. I'll connect 2 of them together. I want this V effect kind of corset back. So when I'm done with this, guys, next thing I'm going to do now is, for my waistline, I'm going to go ahead and divide my waistline into 3. So here, as you can see, I checked what I had from here, and then I'll go ahead and divide it into 3, just the way you see me doing. So I'll go ahead right now and then use my ruler to connect from the chest line to that point that I divided, then to the full length of the blouse. So when I'm done with this, now remember that our dart is 1 inch, so I'm going to share that 1 inch between these 2 lines. So I'm going to be using 0.25 on all the sides, just the way you see me doing. So if it's 0.25 on one side, that's 1/2 inch already, and 1/2 inch, 1/2 plus 1/2 is 1. So we already have the 1 inch that we removed for the dart. Then I'll go ahead now and connect the dart legs down to the full length of our blouse. If you're very conversant with my tutorial, you realize that recently we've been doing this on the page. If you've not watched my video on how to draft a corset, I think you should go back to my channel to watch it. This is how we've been achieving it, and it's been perfect. So from the chest line I came down by 1 inch, and then I connected it to the armhole line, just the way you see me doing. So next thing I'm going to do right now is to get my my hip line. So from my half length, I came down by 10 inches for my hip line. I'll do the same thing for this other part. I'll mark my hip line. Now, I'll go ahead and connect these points into a straight line. Now, to achieve my crotch line, from the hip line, I will come down by 5 inches. Why? Because you know that the front half length and the back waist, the front waist and the back waist is not the same. So that is why I use 5 inches. So when I did that, from that crotch line, I came in also by 1.3 inches. I marked it. Are you seeing? So when I'm done marking it, guys, I went ahead on the full length of our crotch. I came up by 1.5 inches as I did for the front. It's very important. So when I did that, I just went from my crotch line, then I connected it straight down. I'm making a sketch first, like a rough sketch. Then I connected it to the full length. So when I'm done with this, what I'm going to do right now is that 0.7 1.5 inch I went up by from the full length. I'm going to go ahead and connect it that leg, just the way you see me doing. Then I will now use this upper part is going to be where your bonings are going to be, while the down part, they will not be bonings. That's your panty part, they won't be boning. So I went ahead to use my marker pen to highlight it. So if you don't like how the panty is, if you want it to be more covered, you can go ahead and actually extend or cover it more. Now this is me. I brought in the front part. Are you seeing the front and the back? I brought it so you could see. Now for the front, I also went ahead to highlight. Now going back to the back side, I was saying that if you want your panty to be more covered, all you just need to do is to extend your line, just the way you see me doing. If you don't like it like this, you just do your thing, just extend your line, but make sure that crotch line that we marked 1.3 inches does not exceed 1.5 inches. If it's too wide, it's going to be ugly. I hope you understand. So basically, guys, this is it for the back. I'll go ahead right now and cut the front. So watch closely how I am cutting the front so that you will not make mistake while cutting yours. So I seen the extended sleeve. I'm going ahead now to cut it out. Let me see how I'm cutting it, guys. So when I'm done, the next thing I'm going to do is to close my bust dart. So I'm going to go ahead right now and close it. I'll use masking tape to tape it down, and then I'll trim the excess by the side. I'll do the same thing for this other part. I'll close it, I'll tape it down with a masking tape, and then I will trim the excess by the side. So after this, guys, we'll go ahead now and trace out the inner of this bodysuit. Remember that in the thumbnail there's a green part which they use crepe, and that green part is where the caging and the fleshing is going to be. So I'm going to place it right now. I'll place my center front, and then I'll also place my side front, and then I'll go ahead and trace the part that I marked. So after this, guys, I'll just go ahead and cut it out. So basically, this is our inner. That's where our bust is going to sit. So this is it, guys. We are done with the front. So we are going to go ahead right now and set it aside. So for the back, what I'm going to do is to add my extra allowance at the full length. I'm going to add the 1 inch the same way I did for the front. I'll do it for the back. I almost forgot. Remember that I do this so that the lower waist is not going to be too tight and make you uncomfortable. So I came up again by 1.5 inches, and then I connected it like this. So basically, this is it, and then I'll go ahead and cut. So I've cut out the panty part, and then I'm cutting out the bodies. Now you seen, I've gone ahead to cut out these other parts, and then I'm cutting out the darts, and then where the corset, the eyelet is going to sit, cut it out. So basically, this is the back. I've gone ahead to label. It's very important that you label, indicate all your arrows when necessary, so that you won't have to make mistake. Corset can be quite confusing. So this is the back and this is the front. So the next thing, the thing I always do is I always go ahead to craft my bodies. You don't only craft cup, you can also craft your pattern. Crafting helps you to actually adjust, the mistake you're supposed to make on the fabric. You're making it in the paper and you're correcting it. Now you're seeing your whole bodies on a paper instead of the fabric. I hope you understand. So I actually love to do this. I actually love to craft because it gives me room to make all of my correction. So this was me. So when I was done, I seen that it's already coming out. It's already taking shape. So when I'm done, I'm just going to show you how it looks. So this is when I was done. Are you seeing? So I'll just go ahead. I saw that this other end, the part I'm putting masking tape now, doesn't rhyme with the extended sleeve part. So I've gone ahead now to add more flesh to it. You see, if I didn't do this now, it would have been a shortage for me in my fabric. So I also go ahead now and craft this other part so that I will see if there's any error and I'll just go ahead and correct it immediately. So this was when I was done crafting the cup. Are you seeing now? So this part now I'm done with it. I'll set it aside. The other part, remember, is an asymmetric blouse. So I'm going to go ahead now following the blue marker pen to trim out the parts that I will not be needing. Are you seeing? So this is our asymmetric. It's so beautiful. So the one that I crafted, that's the one that's going to be inside. You just go ahead and just attach it inside. I see how beautiful this looks already. Just imagine that you're already done with it. So this is it. This is our front asymmetric bodysuit pattern, and then this is the back. Also, I wanted to craft this back just to show you how it's also going to look, but usually the back does not have issues. So this is how my pattern looks for both the front and the back, and they are so pretty. So that's basically it. If you've not subscribed, please do well subscribe to my channel, like, share, and leave a comment in the comment section if you have any question for me. Now this is the panty part, and this part is where the boning is going to stop. Make sure that the boning does not get to the full length of the upper part before you attach your panties. If not, you'll not be able to wear it. It will make you very uncomfortable. So let the boning stop about 0.75 or 0.5 inches before the full length. So we've come to the end of today's tutorial. Thank you for watching my video to the end, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.